Hey, welcome to another video, everybody. If you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. This is a good episode to start off on. If you've been with me right along through the entire journey, thank you for that. So today, looking as you saw in the title, how we got here and where we go from here is basically the energy that I'm putting into this retrospective episode. I'm going to go back and look at each of the videos that I've done this year, which have been pretty much weekly since the spring, and just go over some highlights, maybe some insights, maybe a little bit of commentary into some things that were going on off the camera. I don't know. I don't have a script for today. We're just going to roll through and look at different things and just get caught up because I'm at a crossroads right now. It feels like the start of a new chapter. A lot of things have happened very quickly, it feels like, in the last few weeks that have really come together, and ideas that have been planted and grown and born out to harvest season, which is right now. We are now starting to see the things that we started creating. And I say we, my wife and I, Michelle is my wife, if you're new to the channel, and she and I made the decision about 3 months ago, maybe close to 4 months ago, to dramatically change the life we're living. And I mean dramatically. But it all started with the first video that we're going to go ahead and look back at some highlights from. And I called it Insights from the Trail. And it came out in March of 2026. And there was no plan to have a YouTube channel. There was no plan to, leave my career as a medic in the VA, none of that. But there were some things, some profound insights and ideas that were born from that trip that ended up taking root in the grief and in the frustrations and in the uncertainty that I was going through at the time. And that became the changes that we'll document over the next however long on this video. But let's get started with the very first video in the series of what we're going to do in this recap today. Insights from the Trail, March of 2026.
May the fish be with you.
Yes, thank you.
And one of the things that I really enjoy about getting out and walking without a real specific plan is that I have to keep trying a lot of different things. And I don't waste a whole lot of time on things that aren't working for me. One of the things that I really enjoy about when I'm out fishing like I did on this hike is that it forces me to stay in the moment and keep trying new things. Because I think in our daily routines, a lot of times they're just that. They're routines, and we don't try new things. We don't pay a whole lot of attention to the here and now other than the fact that we're doing what our routine is. So getting out in nature, I think, awakens some senses and a spirit of adventure, even if it's a mini adventure, because we're trying new things and we're reading the lay of the land and the water and the sounds and the other life around us. But I think that getting out there and trying some different things is a good lesson to bring back in to our own lives.
Well, this seemed as good a spot as any to stop and have a little snack, have a protein bar. It is a gorgeous day out here, and I've come across a few people on the trails, but everybody's so friendly, everybody's so nice, happy to be out here. And one thing that a friend of mine said is nature unites us. Our divisions fall away when we get out in nature. When you come across other people on a trail, out on the water, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a pleasurable experience because you're all out here for the same thing. Can kind of just enjoy some time out away from the daily grind together. And I'm going to finish my snack and then keep on going. All right, well, made it back to the car. I was kind of running out of time. It was a short trip today. I only had a few hours to circle, so I didn't get to fish on the way back. But a beautiful day, got a good workout, dripping in sweat, so that's good. I don't have the physical stamina
a lot of folks do that do outdoor activities, but let that be an encouragement to you. You don't have to be an athlete to be able to get out and enjoy stuff. But I had an insight. When I had made the decision that I wasn't going to fish anymore and that I was turning to work my way back to the trailhead, it wasn't as fun. I enjoyed being out, but the insight that I gained from it is that it's always more fun and things seem to go more fluid when I'm heading towards something. When I'm heading away from something, it's not as fun. So the insight on life there is always be looking for what you're going toward instead of what you're leaving behind, and things can be a lot more fun along the way. Anyway, Matt Mittan signing off.
Okay, so if that's an indication of the kind of smack me in my own face kind of stuff I'm going to experience through this retrospective, it's going to be quite an experience. Man, I could have been giving myself the advice as much as anybody else right there, talking about, moving towards something. But earlier in the video also where I was talking about how, trying different things and basically not being afraid to fail, and that the adventure of not being able to figure things out except for in the here and now, that became the epicenter of why I made the changes that I did. And the next video, I'm going to jump right into it, is called Why I'm Risking It All, is what I called it. And it was a month after the video that you just saw. And I just lay out everything, and I recorded it right after I had left my job at the VA. So it's going to be interesting to go back and see it now. This was officially episode 1 of this series on YouTube, and it came out in mid-April of 2026.
All right, welcome. Well, I almost didn't do this video today. As a matter of fact, I've been not doing this video for a while now. And the reason is, if I do this video and I put out there and share the story and where I'm at in my life and what I intend to do moving forward, well, I feel very vulnerable about that. But I am now 55 years old, and I've had a storied life of great service and purpose that has kept me fueled and kept me going. And as I've aged and as I've had a lot of loss in my life, it's put certain things into perspective. And also, as the aches and pains and the reality of aging starts to set in, I find myself having to adjust the adventures that I do. I've been a long time outdoor adventurer, remote camper, paddler, all those kind of things. I found myself over the last, I guess about a year and a half, since Hurricane Helene hit our community. We live in the greater Asheville area, east of Asheville, in what's called Swannanoa Valley. And my wife and I, our community was devastated. We lost friends. We saw places that we had spent our lives going to, businesses, parks, just the community itself, schools, everything else, just obliterated. Churches wiped out. And in the wake of that, it started chipping away at me on, how I spend my time and where I spend it. And I loved being a medic for the VA and serving veterans. That was never in question. I loved it through and through. It was rewarding. I felt it was impactful, but I wasn't getting time to spend with my family. I wasn't getting time to go out and do the adventures that really are such a cornerstone to my physical health, my mental health, my spiritual health. As a matter of fact, my family teases about when I go out into nature, that's me going to church. And it's really important for my overall health. Well, then throw on top of that, over the last several months, my wife, who has a lot of long-term medical challenges, but is a warrior and a champion and one of the strongest the strongest person I've ever known in my life, and a beautiful, giving soul. Well, her medical challenges have required more time for me to be with her, to support her, which I want to do. First and foremost, beyond anything, beyond the outdoors, beyond being a medic, anything else. But working a full-time federal job didn't allow me for the time to do that. So I went and I got FMLA, which is Family Medical Leave Act stuff. And for the last several months, I've basically been working part-time, as I've been using a lot of the FMLA. And so I think, over the last few months, we started looking at what the timeline would be for me to go ahead and, quote unquote, retire from the federal government. And while we're not quite fully there yet, I'm not going to see anything come in for a number of years. We made the decision that I was going to go ahead and leave my federal job. And so I did that 2 days ago, was my last day working as a medic in the Veterans Administration, Health Administration, and decided that we just wanted to build a life around being together, being available for family and for whatever medical needs, and allow time to go out and do the things that we enjoy doing in nature. The other is to acknowledge some changes in our personal lives that require really full attention. So my mother-in-law passed away just a few months ago. As accomplished and as remarkable a person as she was, there were some challenges that she had in private that included her home situation. With a home that, while a beautiful home, had been neglected for many years and had gone into disrepair, and then also was hoarded. Now, there's a lot of TV shows and a lot of videos out there about hoarding and what that means. But I think one of the things that went into our decision for me to leave my federal job and start sharing a journal, basically, of the journey that we're on, is also being honest about the aftermath of hoarding. It is traumatic, and it's been a real challenge to try and navigate through. We want to try to keep the house. We want to try to live here, but there's just so much to do, and there's so many layers to the challenges of this and the home repairs and everything else, that we thought it would be useful to be vulnerable and be open and honest about what it's like to navigate that. And we don't know what the outcome is going to be, because here's the race involved. This is the race against time. By leaving my federal job, that means I left a paycheck, and there's not one to replace it. And so we're resourceful people. My wife and I have been entrepreneurs for many years. Short of my employment with the federal government as a medic for a number of years, I always own my own businesses. So we know how to do that, but we're not exactly sure what we're going to do with that. And so with the house that we're in and the challenges we face to try and free it from the trauma of what is left, we also have to figure out how we're going to generate money and be able to afford to stay. And there's a limited timeline for us to accomplish these things. So everything's at stake, and we're okay with that. We're completely comfortable with it. We have committed that, again, going back to what I said earlier on in this video, we are focused on being together, being able to live the life that we want and be there for each other. And whatever we can generate from that life is what we're okay with sustaining as far as an environment. So we're not attached to material things, and we're okay with whatever the outcome of this is. Again, thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned, and we'll post these videos up with footage from different aspects of what's going on, and just being real with the journey, and we'll see where it ends up. Thanks.
Well, that was pretty interesting for me to go back and watch. I am happy to report that what I said in that one take, non-scripted monologue that I did over 3 months ago, we've stuck to that. We have stayed in the moment. We have tried to build spokes of our economic wheel around being together and around doing things that we love. So we now have our Quiet Waters Creations and Curiosities traveling retail booth that we do at markets and fairs and festivals. We've done that now, and it's only getting better every time we do it. We just launched the radio station that we created just this week. The buzzasheville.com is up and running, a local radio station, online radio station. So that's a big accomplishment. We've continued to make these videos, or I've continued to do this every week, and happy to report we've made a lot of progress on the hoarded house. It's been a slow, arduous process. And the next episode in the series was called So Much Stuff.
Just so much stuff to go through.
can be overwhelming, really. So you don't know exactly where to start. So you just try to sort things and organize them. In the meantime, the trash just keeps piling and piling and piling up. And it's like we got to triage through all the trash before we can get to where we decide what are we going to keep, what are we going to give to family, what are we going to, try to sell or anything. So yeah, it's just kind of overwhelming, but we press on. It happens a lot. Avalanche. Whenever we get overwhelmed with trying to break loose of a lot of the trash or just sorting through all the hoarded stuff, we have a couple of spaces that we can go to that feel free and clear. And we've also found a way to have some humor in it. We've named each section of the house. So we call this the Bird Cafe now. And we have a little cafe sign that we found at a thrift store for $1. Got a lot of trash to haul out today, and I'm going to get to it. So here is trash that has built up over the last few days. And today is haul off day. So got a project to do. And mind you, we've already been doing this for 3 months straight. And while it feels like we're making some progress, it also feels like there's so much more still to do. One of the things I should probably mention before I go and haul all this stuff off, which will be the first of a few trips this morning, I'm sure, is that every one of these bags, everything that's in it, all the stuff had to be gone through meticulously, because there were personal papers or belongings that are just mixed in the mounds of stuff. So it's not as simple as just raking up a bunch of trash and then hauling it out. Everything behind me in this car and every load we've taken out of the house over the last few months has all been painstakingly combed through and reviewed. And along with it, there's a lot of family memories that come up. There's a lot of heartbreak. There's some joyous memories that come up. But it's a lot. It's got emotional toll. So anyway, let's get this stuff to the dump and keep moving on through the morning. One of the nice things, I know I can get cat cuddles anytime I want. I just got to lay down on a couch in the sun and wait. And there it is. Hello, Itzy. Keep on plugging. Michelle does most of the sorting of boxes and piles of things and digging out from underneath debris, because it is personal to her. One of the things that I think the TV shows do a good job of addressing is the struggle to get through piles of stuff when people are here. What those shows I've never seen really address is the aftermath and the struggles that are involved to try and unpack it and sort through everything and get rid of things. Michelle and I had a conversation, and the hoarding, combined with all the other things in life that you go through, life events and trials and tribulations, but also the warm memories and everything, they all get tangled into the piles of things that are left behind. Her mom was an incredible and remarkable, accomplished woman. She was a pilot and a surgical MD and wrote textbooks and that are still used in colleges today. She did amazing mission work. I'm going to clean this up. In about 4 days, it'll fill up again, and we just keep doing this over and over again. Been doing it for 3 months. And as a matter of fact, I think right now is probably a good time for me to go ahead and show you where we started with this, because we've been plugging away at this for about 3 months. So let's go ahead and cue up some of the before and just kind of, here it is. Pretty much all these photos that you're going to be seeing in this collage are from before we started trying to clear. Now,
I got to put an asterisk on that because we had been trying to clear different lanes and different space in the house for a very long time. And it was a real challenge. It was difficult to make progress, and then things would fill back in, or there was a lot of emotion involved in trying to clean or clear different areas for some of the reasons that I listed before. But it's really something to be looking back at these now. It's the first time I've really looked at them since taking them. I happened to take these unknowing that we were going to be losing her mom. I actually took these the morning before she passed away, when she was already in hospice. And so if you can imagine all of this and family photos or different belongings or writings and everything all mixed in with this, as going through it is pretty hard to emotionally deal with and go through. And then also under some of this, there's a lot of damage to the house as well. There were some places where there was rot. There was animal sign in some of the areas, the ammonia from cats, and the damage that was there from that as well. But it's amazing to think that someone sustained in this environment. And there's some of the pictures there I'm talking about with the cats. Those litter boxes were solid, and the cats just stopped using them and just went wherever. And there's some areas here, like that's a top view down to some of the area we kept clear just so she had space to live. She was sleeping on that couch that you saw there. If you want to go back and see it again, that door right there, we had to cut into the garage because some of these pictures you're seeing now, the garage was so hoarded on the top level without weight support that it collapsed in on itself. It's a lot.
I got to tell you, that was pretty emotional to watch that. And I think the part that hit me, and it's hitting me right now, was that top-down view looking at where my mother-in-law was sleeping on that couch and her walker next to the couch, and that little tiny area that we fought to keep clean and clear a little bit, just enough to move around and be able to try to help her. The walker, she would end up just putting things on it because there was nowhere wide enough for her to walk. And no matter how much we tried, we could not create or sustain lanes for her to move. And if we weren't right with her, she would try climbing over debris and she'd fall. And it was a traumatic thing. And I think now, watching that episode all these months later, the trauma isn't as overwhelming about the hoarding. And I think that's why the grief side of it is hitting me more as I see that episode. And I can tell you that I'm looking here on my other screen because I wanted to see what episode was coming up next. The thing to take into account about all that hoarding and how overwhelming that all was is Michelle and I's belongings had been stacked into multiple storage units across multiple locations. We had 5 storage units, I think. And one of the things about leaving my job and not yet starting to work on figuring out how to make more money, because we were so focused on just trying to break free of the overwhelming nature of this house, that was our full-time job. And I think just those little highlights from that episode probably give you an idea of just how overwhelming it was. And that was all concentrated just basically in 2 rooms of what is a large house. And so there wasn't the time to grieve, but there also wasn't any of our own things around and no space to really do anything with them. And the money that we were paying out to sustain the 5 extra storage units was not something we could sustain because we took ownership of the house and the mortgage and all the bills and everything else too. So we're bleeding through what money we had and what money I still had from my job and things like that pretty quick. So we decided what we needed to do was start getting rid of storage units. One of the storage units, however, and talking about grief, was the remnants from my mom's estate when she passed away a few years ago up in Massachusetts. It still had a lot of things that had just been put in boxes and put into storage units because we didn't have the time to really go through everything as detailed as we would want. So in the midst of dealing with all the things here at this house, in order to try and stay at this house, we had to reduce our expenses that were going out for things like storage units. And the one for my mom, I quickly realized I need to finish out dealing with the loss of my mom and the remnants from her estate. And that's what this next episode is. We called it mass storage because it's a storage unit in Massachusetts and we had mass storage units. So here we go. Here's the episode, at least the highlights from it.
You gonna miss us? Yeah, he's a good kitty. You get a treat. We're gonna be heading out for a couple of weeks on a trip, so you get a treat tonight. I'm gonna miss you. Gonna miss you, pretty kitty. Oh my goodness.
Okay. Now you can smell the rain coming.
Yeah, I can tell rain's on the way. These are the ones you always trip on.
I don't always trip on them. You always think I'm going to trip on them.
All right. Reason we're even here is try and empty out this storage unit in the next couple of days. I have no idea which key it is because we had so many storage units. Yikes. Yikes.
Yikes.
Yikes, yikes, yikes.
That is a yikes.
We'll just go through and find the stuff that we want to have donated, and then the stuff we want to take with us, and then the stuff we'll get a smaller, much smaller storage unit. But yeah, for sure, the furniture, and there's a couple of pieces in here that I'm definitely going to want to
Yeah.
keep.
Yeah.
Wow. And just opening it up is like, it's emotional. Yeah. The main thing for me is the furniture,
Yeah.
which was my, like the dresser right here. That was my dad's dresser in my mom and dad's room
Yeah.
and everything. And, it's the drawer I used to sneak in to find change for the ice cream truck,
Huh.
as
Yeah,
a
I
kid.
stole change from my parents too.
But it's
Crazy.
I definitely want to keep all the
80s were a
furniture
wild time.
and the hutch and everything. We used to
Yeah.
host families at our house all the time, and all the stuff was kept in that. And so, the furniture has emotional family heirloom kind of value to it, but also for when we do get a place of our own that's up here, a camp, there's stuff in here to furnish it.
Yeah.
And I want us to have that so we
Yeah.
can furnish our New England camp
Yeah.
home, tiny home, cabin or whatever
Yeah.
with that stuff.
I agree.
Oh, this is heavy. Oh, goodness.
This is it's all bakeware stuff. Pans, cookie molds, drying, cooling racks.
Donate.
Yep, donate. I agree. Although I love it. You know how much I love to
I
cook.
know how much you love it.
I'm a cooker. All right, we'll finish loading this stuff up and take the first load to donate.
Okay.
All right, so we are nearing the end of mission mass storage.
Yeah.
It's been quite an adventure. So we didn't tape a whole lot the last couple of days because really it was just so much work going
Right.
through everything, and
You get it. Y'all get it.
Yeah, you get it. It's a lot of stuff, but then also I wasn't prepared for the emotional stuff that came
Right,
from it. Yeah, that
right.
breeze is pretty cold, isn't it?
So the interesting thing about that last episode is how it ended. We had been planning on being gone for a couple of weeks, with most of it being taken care of that storage unit in Massachusetts. And then along the way coming back, we were going to stop and camp in a wilderness area of West Virginia that we'd had our sights on for a few years. But because of forecasts being really nasty, we called an audible and we went to the barrier islands of Maryland and Virginia instead, which were absolutely beautiful. And one of the reasons that we made the changes that we did in our life, for all the different factors going on, we also wanted to be able to have time to enjoy being outdoors. So we did that. But then when we got back home to Asheville, North Carolina, or just outside Asheville, we had to keep attacking the storage units. And that led to filling the house right back up. We had finally been making progress on de-hoarding the house, but as soon as we had space available, we had to fill it right back up again. And that's what this next episode is called Recluttering. Here we go.
Hey everybody. So if you've been following along, then you know we're in the midst of quite the journey. Well, we're at a weird phase right now. If you see behind me, I've got what is now this morning the second carload full of stuff. Only this is going into the house. We've spent the last 3 months trying to clear stuff out of the hoarded house that we recently took ownership of, and it's been to make room to bring in what was 5 different storage units worth of stuff that Michelle and I had spread around different places, so that we could move our own stuff into the house. It's a significant thing for us to get to the point now, not only because of the money that goes out, but because we felt so scattered. And even though it's basically re-hoarding the house, is what it feels like. The victories we had in opening spaces up are now filling right back up to the brim because of all me and Michelle's stuff is all coming into the house now. But as we sort through it and we clear now, it's stuff we will be able to set up for our home if we're able to keep it. So I mentioned in a previous video, one of the hard things about this is every little thing, like a box like this, or like a nasty old bag like this, everything's got to be gone through. And as I'm trying to make more space to bring more stuff in from our own storage units, this is the kind of stuff that every single box requires review. And looks like a little wallet. Oh, here we go. This is what I was talking about. Wow. It's a full sleeve. Anyway, yeah, so they're 256 megabytes, and there's 6 different little memory cards on here. It may have a bunch of photos. It may be blank. I don't know, but has to be set aside to be looked at because, as I know in my own family, I'm the only one left from my nuclear family that I grew up with. Everyone else has passed. Those photos are so important. And so we have to go through all these. And it's more than about just the hoarding. It's really, I think it's a good parable to life in general. You can get cluttered with a lot of things in life. And whether it's, finances or relationships or work, or whatever it might be, addictions and things, it takes a lot of work, and it takes more than just one individual to overcome it. And so let me be that encouraging voice if you need that right now. And in turn, I appreciate the encouragement that people have offered us, because it is overwhelming. And the videos, believe me, have not even begun to capture a little bit of what it's like. So anyway, back into digging through boxes one at a time. Something occurred to me going through all these boxes. It's just box after box after box of clearing stuff. And what occurred to me is, as I'm going through these boxes, things are in huge tangled messes. And the fact that a lot of these boxes, whether they be from Michelle's mom, or if they be from my own past, a lot of these boxes were just things thrown together very quickly, because the exit from whatever the situation or the location was traumatic. It was short notice. There was urgency to it. There was a real sense of loss if things didn't get thrown all at once into boxes. There's no rhyme or reason or sorting in some of the stuff that's carried on. And it's not just about stuff that was hoarded here in the house. Michelle said something that really struck me about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. It's hard to keep track of the days when you're just doing the same routine every single day. But she said she started thinking about if there was an emergency or there was a fire and we had to leave, we could only take certain things with us. What would we take? And then working our way backwards from that. And that really hit me as I'm going through these boxes and I'm untangling all these different messes, because trauma does that, doesn't it? It's not just about material things, physical things. Trauma does that with us emotionally and mentally and spiritually too. You just box everything in, it's all tangled. And it takes time and effort and commitment to untangle those things, to clear them out and see what you're going to keep and what you're going to throw out. The more I do this, the more time I spend with it and with myself in my own mind, the more I'm seeing the greater benefit for my psyche and for things that maybe didn't get dealt with till there was time to have to really deal with them. And I don't mean just going through boxes, that hardships, that unwinding trauma, persevering through it. It creates new foundations and cornerstones that help you build a much better life.
All right, a lot of progress so far. Still have all this and what's underneath it to go, and we will be down another storage unit. The story of our lives the last month. So we've got it down to a system. In between unloading from the storage unit, load up a whole load of trash, take that out, empty the car again, reload at the storage unit. So yeah, got a good system going. All right, that is the last of the mock, the MOC. RIP MOC, another storage unit down. Woohoo!
Something that's starting to emerge that I'm seeing anyway from my own personal standpoint is the healing journey that I've been on over this process. You know, at the beginning, it was just about try to unlock the trauma from the house, the hoarding and the grieving and everything else. But I'm starting to recognize in myself where I am now and how I got here as far as my own healing. And it's interesting because the next couple of episodes were really about things we enjoy. You know, we had all these months after months of all this trauma and all this tedious and emotional work to really push through. So I'm going to include just a few highlights from the next two episodes so we can keep moving along and you can see just a little bit of what was there.
All right, so let me start off by telling you exactly what this is. It's an old CRT TV. Some of the more seasoned folks in the audience will recognize the big heavy tube TV. And then these are a bunch of what's called plug and plays. You can find them on Facebook Marketplace and different places pretty cheap. And if you're a Gen Xer, you probably have some of these sitting around in the house somewhere in some box. Then I have what's called an Atari Flashback. It's also a plug and play. And then this right here is an RCA switch box, which you can get off of Amazon, but I had this one sitting around in an old box. Pretty much everything here I had sitting around in various boxes. And as we've been going through things, been finding different pieces and then assembling this. Anyway, classic gaming at its best. Let me go ahead and hit a car here and blow up. All right, there we go. All right, so then if you want to go to the next plug and play, just go ahead and switch. So Dig Dug, there's a classic. And I wonder how many people are hearing this and like the nostalgia of just hearing the sounds. It is like a time warp. It brings you right back to the 80s, at least for me and Michelle. Hello, Peach. It never stops. But we go ahead, switch to 4. This is the Atari Flashback 7. They have a lot of them. I think they're up to like 12 or 13, and they have gold editions and everything else. But this one I like because the 7, I like the game selections on it, but it has wireless joysticks. But you have on here all kinds of different games you can go through, classic asteroids. And but this is the one that has like, I think 110 games on it or something. But the one that I really like on here is the Frogger game. And this to me is quintessential arcade. Yes, Peach, I know you're there. I love you too. Anyway, so again, this is one of the most lovey-dovey cats you'll ever meet. Hi. You giving some hugs? You want to say hi to everybody? Get your motor running? Okay. I've got to go ahead and play some Space Invaders. One more. You know what? Life is beautiful. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful you're here. And everybody's going through something. And hard times abound. But beauty and joy abounds too. Fellowship with each other abounds. If you're having a hard time, if you're going through something that seems like you can't overcome it, know that you're not alone. And if you can find a peaceful setting, even for a few minutes, and just kind of being quiet for a little while, find something to be grateful for every day. Every single day.
Well, not skunked on the day. Not a bad bass. There we go. Thank you. Beautiful. Nom, 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 nom. There really is nowhere that I feel more at home or more comfortable or at peace than when I'm on the water. And it seems like over the last several months I've been so busy with other things I haven't spent much time on the water. Man, it sure does feel good to get out here.
And I'll tell you what, seeing that nature stuff right at the end right there really made me miss clear blue skies. As I'm sitting here in my studio right now, we have had torrential rains and it has just been soggy and wet and humid and hot for days and days and days on end. So it was nice to see the clear blue skies and sunlight and calm water. That was pretty nice. All right. Now we take a transition. Now the storyline starts to shift a little bit. We had that recharging moment, had some fun, and then we had to start thinking about how we're going to make money. And that's what the next episode was titled, Selling Stuff.
So here in the kitchen, I just pile up stuff. This is the going to be listed for sale pile. So as we sort through more stuff, either from our own things that have come in from storage units or things that we sorted through from all the hoarded stuff that was here. And then we shop and say, what do we want to have for us here in the house? And if it isn't something that we want to keep, it comes over in this pile. Then this pile gets processed for selling. And then we have another pile that's for donations, which is alongside of where the trash pile used to go, or still goes actually. So I'm calling this my fulfillment center. It's where I put things once I list them up and put them up for sale and everything. But the other stuff I'm listing on Facebook Marketplace, put it up here. I've got a load of stuff that's going to be going out for delivery today, as a matter of fact. And it's fun to be selling stuff, get some money coming in, but also to be continuing to clear stuff out. So it's good. I like it. Uh-oh, that's the problem with having so many keys. All the different storage units and all the different various locks that are on this house and some we've added. I can't find the key to get into the garage from the side door we had put in. But this is my little workstation. This is where I'm running my little temporary store. And it's anticipation for getting set up for the community yard sale that we're going to be having here in our community in Swannanoa, where we live east of Asheville. And I'm really looking forward to it because since Hurricane Helene, any chance we get as a community here in the valley to come together, it's good. But it's also going to be a trial run for us because we want to start doing festivals and fairs and setting up and selling things. Michelle's art, interviewing interesting people. I don't know. We'll see. But we're looking forward to this this community yard sale, which is going to be huge. And anyway, so just trying to show you kind of what the routine is. And by the way, as far as that garage goes, I may be in trouble. I cannot find the key to that thing anywhere. So that I'll let you know if I find it along the way. One load down.
There we go. Nice. Looks good.
Very good. Oh, it's so exciting to finally be on this phase. So I guess we could do it. We could do it like that.
Yeah.
And still fast. Yeah, that way, because if it rains at any event, you know, I can just fasten this. We got to get another one of those pictures.
We've got to.
It
I'm
has to be
so bummed.
I know.
If
well,
you had
obviously, I
taken
wouldn't
a
have bought
picture
two identical ones.
and sent it to me, I would have zelled you the money right then on the spot.
But I mean, I wasn't going to buy two identical things
No,
to
I
hang in the
know.
house.
It didn't make sense.
But now setting this up, it makes perfect sense
Yeah.
that be part of our display.
Yeah.
So we're set on the Quiet Waters Creations we already did, but we're going to add and Curiosities
Yes.
to it.
Quiet Waters Creations and Curiosities.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
We got a plan.
Looks good.
I've lived in the valley now for almost 30 years, and your family's been here longer than that, right?
Yes. My family's been here since 89, 90.
Yeah.
We started building the house in 89.
I found the keys to the side door for the garage.
But we can't get in there yet.
No, but the two easels that we have are in there. If we set up the
Put a
easels,
sign
we could either have a
of-
sign
or
or a couple of pieces
paintings.
of, we could have a couple of paintings.
Let's do that.
Oh,
I like that.
oh yeah, by the way, I found the keys. Let me just say, since Michelle's not in here, she'll see it when the video comes out. But the idea of getting to travel and spend all that time with her, I can't think of a better way that I want to spend whatever remaining days I have than to be out there traveling and experiencing things and creating and meeting people and getting to not only do it with her, but to see how she is with other people. She's amazing. Anyone who has met her knows how incredible of a person she is. And getting to see her meet strangers and become instant friends with them and have real meaningful life conversations, it's something that I crave. It's beautiful. Anyway, she's coming. I'm going to keep digging.
We can use that bin though to bring stuff and then put it under the table, or like you said,
Yeah.
have extra stuff.
Oh, this is going to look so great. Come here. Come here, you little
Yeah.
escape artist.
Let her just walk around for a little bit.
You going to say hi, Peach?
Say hi.
She's like,
She's
let me
so
free,
pretty.
you monster.
What a pretty kitty.
Okay, so the next video will have the market in it, right? No, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. All right.
Maybe. Yeah.
I have no idea what this next week's going to bring.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe the probate stuff will finally get moving.
That would be good.
That'd be good. I had to tell you about an experience that I'm currently in with the courts. So I've been trying to close out the estate of my mother-in-law, and it's been stuck in a probate process for a long time. And as far as I can tell, it's never even been reviewed by anyone in a judiciary capacity other than the estate's office, which are great people. They're really sweet and everything, but it seems like I keep having to go back and do one more thing. And then I get one more form. And then it's like, well, you still got to do this form. And then I do a form and say, oh, well, this form needs this. And it's just been this one thing after another every week. And the one this week, it may be completely legit, but I just shook my head and I was like, what has happened with our system that this is what it takes? Anyway, so my mother-in-law's last will and testament, her will was done years ago, and it was notarized and everything else. It was recorded and all legit, all, rock solid and everything. Turned it in to the probate when we first started the process. Everything looked good, went through it. Okay, fine. Because of this that's in the will, you got to go and get this, you got to get that, So there was a process, and we followed it. And I finally got the final thing, supposedly the final thing that was needed, and turned it in a week ago and said, okay, we'll call you tomorrow. We're going to go ahead and get this going so you can start actually officially addressing needs of the estate and closing things out. And a week went by and I hadn't heard anything back. So I went into the office and they pulled the file and they looked through it and they said, oh, well, this might be a problem. And I said, what is it? And they said, well, look here on the will. There's handwritten changes to some of the things. And I was like, right. And it's initialed, and they said, well, but this might be a problem because we don't know that this is legitimately her handwriting. And I said, but it's ink. This is not a copy. This is the original with ink. I said, it's ink signed and initialed by both her and the notary. The notary also initialed every single thing. There was like 3 things that changed that the notary was like, well, you need to clarify this. As an example, one thing she had in her will, she said, I have no children. When she did that, she was thinking, I don't have any children like, that age, like below 18. And the notary was like, no, this is for the purpose of your will. You have to state your children's names. So the hand wrote in for Michelle and her brother John. And my mother-in-law initialed it. The notary initialed it. And there are a couple just little clarifying things like that. And so it's all notarized. It was recorded, everything else. And they said, well, you need to get an affidavit from the notary stating that she was present for those changes and that those are their initials. And I was like, what? I was like, isn't that the purpose of the notary? Isn't that what the notarizing is, it has the notary's initials and signature along with hers in ink on that day, and it's sealed. Isn't that what a notary's for? And they said, well, we need to really make sure of this. So I said, okay. I don't even know if the person still works at the place. It was 3-4 years ago. I go, person does work there. So they go ahead and I tell them and they're like, what? They've been doing notarization for years. Never heard of anything like this. And I said, yeah, okay. So they're laughing a little bit and saying, sorry, you're having to go through this extra step. And they go ahead and he fills out an affidavit and he signs it and everything. And seems like everything's going to be fine. But no, wait, there's more. And this is why it made it on the video this week. So it ends up that the notary doing the affidavit, his affidavit that he is the notary that notarized the will, has to be notarized. I'm not making this up. So another notary has to notarize the notary's affidavit that he was the notary that notarized the will 3 years ago. So we did it. We did that process. And the other notary goes, so are you going to have to come back here and have a notary notarize that I was the notary that notarized the notary's notarization? Anyway.
Well, it's another week and another response of like, well, check back. We'll get more information to you and let you know what's happening by the end of the week. It's been like this for a month now. As far as I can tell, I've turned in everything and more of what's needed to the court. And I told them, I said, look, people are calling, they're asking questions, and you know what to do. And still the same response as always.
Well, let me go ahead and save the drama for you and the suspense. The probate court finally went through. When we finally got all the stuff there, and I went back a week after that, and they were saying, well, you might have to hire an attorney to see if this is probatable. And I was like, you know what? We're going to let it ride. put it to the judge. And if the judge says there's another problem, then let us know. So that's what we did. And it took weeks longer, but we did get the probate approved, and we're in the process now of trying to go ahead and sort out the estate, which is really hard. You've seen the video so far, and with the hoarding, and there's so much trash, there's so little of value financially that we've been able to dig out of the place that it's a challenge. But speaking of challenges, we have another unforeseen shift that occurred that lasted weeks, and that is medical challenges. And not just for Michelle, who has had those for a long time, but for me. And so we had injury setbacks and illnesses and things like that. And, you know, it's interesting to now be sitting here looking back and watching these videos, because there's so much that I forgot. You're so much in the here and now, and you've got your nose down to the grindstone. You're churning away trying to get things done. And for me, I sometimes forget. And I didn't even remember that the injury stuff and the medical setbacks started actually at the end of May until I saw what the next episode is. And the episode is Injury Setbacks.
Oh my god.
That was a close one. So this isn't how I expected this week was going to go. It is now Wednesday afternoon, and I have been pretty much bedridden since Sunday afternoon. I was working on moving some furniture and making room for us to move the final storage unit that we need to empty into the house. And that would be the end of what we've been calling the storage wars, of getting rid of all these different storage units that we have. But I was moving the furniture, and I was trying to compensate for the fact that I have the shoulder injury. So I leaned across and pulled on a piece of furniture to move it, and felt what was like an electric shock in the bottom of my back. And it got really bad pretty fast. And we just got back from the VA hospital, which was a chore to get to, but they put me on, I guess, Flexeril and pain medication as well. But it was pretty wild, because all the times I've taken care of Michelle and everything, and yet here we were, and I had to be wheelchaired around. And I found out I don't like that. I'm a very independent person, and I didn't like being stuck in a wheelchair. As one might expect, and I would have been disappointed if I didn't, I got all kinds of grief about the fact that I have yet another injury or challenge. Matter of fact, a couple of people said I need to come back to work as a medic so that I can stop getting hurt. But yeah, there's a lot going on this week, and deadlines are on us, and it's hard. These medical setbacks and these challenges, I just have to have faith that it's part of the process for whatever reason. And I mean, I am getting all this extra time to cuddle with the animals, and Moon's been staying right by my side, haven't you? You've been staying right with me. But yeah, it's interesting that the very first thing on the video was me intervening and keeping Michelle from what could have been, it could have been an epic tragedy waiting to happen, when she almost fell down those front steps. And well, she did fall down, but I caught her and I stopped her. But it was later that same day, or the next day. I can't remember. It's been a while now since. But you know, with how I'm hurting right now, I can't even get up and make it to the bathroom without assistance, and it's very humbling. And it definitely could add a lot of stress to the timelines we're looking at. We're supposed to be set up at the market this weekend, and because we're starting to get the letters now from like mortgage and HOA and all that stuff about payment on things, because we let a couple of payments go a little bit late while we've been keeping all the other bills paid for on time. So yeah, it's a little bit stressful, But again, just trying to have faith that it's happening for a reason, and it definitely ups my compassion banks for what other people deal with, and how sometimes just showing up is all a person can do in a day. It's just being there, and sometimes that's the biggest victory that can happen in a day. I have more compassion for that after being on my back for 3 days. Anyway, we'll see what each day brings. Thanks.
Hi.
The medical emergencies continue.
Yeah.
But darling, oh my God, you go out one night without me.
I know.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Oh, I've got some medic work to do. All right, keep it elevated up on the bed.
Oh, God. Okay. Don't look at my skirt. Get my whole foot, drops and stuff in it.
It's like a crime scene coming in the house.
It does look like a crime.
All right, all stitched up. We'll see how it holds up. Oh yeah, I still got to do that elbow too.
Yeah.
Okay, this one, I'll finish cleaning up your leg. Well, it's now day 5 since I hurt my back. I'm able to get around a little bit using a cane now. And I guess that's what this week is. It's the injury week. We've had some close calls and we've had some fails. And I had to redress Michelle's wound today as well. And I've kind of taken the attitude of like, this is just what this week is. And, you know, whatever comes of it, so be it. We still have a couple of days until the market. And so Michelle and Zoe are thinking about maybe doing that by themselves if I can't do it. I wear out pretty quick and I have to lay back down because of the pain. But the medicines they gave me they do seem to be working. I'm getting a little bit of sleep now, so that's good. Anyway, we'll see what tomorrow brings. Well, it's the day before the market, and we've decided we're going to try to make a go of it. I don't know how useful I'll be, but our daughter's going to come and help, and I guess the next video we'll find out how it went, huh? Anyway, I just took a bunch of meds, and I'm going to rest because a simple run to the store took everything out of me. All right. Get set for the market. All kinds of goods piled up by the door. Woo-hoo. Ready to go. All right, we're going to do this thing. Woo!
We're doing it.
How's your knee?
My knee is still there.
Yeah. All right. Excited. What? What? What do you want? It's not time to eat yet. You're like, it's always time to eat, huh?
All right, a successful market. That was awesome. Woohoo! Yay, team.
I wonder if she sent them up a tree. Yesterday she sent them up the tree and then she had to wait like 20 minutes for them to come back down.
Yeah. She's gonna call the babies.
Yeah. She's like, where are
Come
you
on,
babies? Oh my goodness.
And there they go. All right, last storage unit. Woo! Let's go back 15 feet or 10 feet.
I think it's 10.
All right, Michelle and Zoe's stuff. And this is it. This is the last of the storage units that we need to empty out. It's great to get all of our own stuff into the house. Woo! Stuff's dusty.
I guess we got to start off this video exactly where the last one left off. It's been quite a week of realizations and acceptance and processing. But first, let's get to what happened. So, I've had a lot of medical challenges, unexpected medical challenges over the last several weeks, and they just seem to keep building on each other. And then toward the end of the week last week, I all of a sudden started having these sharp pains in my lower abdomen. And it was excruciating, not since I think I nearly ruptured my appendix when I was 12, 13 years old have I known pain like that in my stomach area. But it was excruciating. I was doubled over in pain. I could barely breathe from it, and it was getting worse. And I took medication and everything, but then I started getting really dizzy, and I started having some GI symptoms. I'll leave it at that. I don't want to gross anybody out. But as a medic, I realized all the symptoms I was experiencing was evidence of a possible blockage. And with the lower back injury that I had sustained, with all the medications I had been on, and everything else, it was a distinct possibility. So when I hit a window where it felt safe enough to be on the move, I went ahead and, by the way, I don't know if you noticed it, that's a pileated woodpecker right there. So anyway, we'll get back to this. So I was able to get myself to the hospital and check into the emergency room, and they brought me in, and with the symptoms and everything, immediately stuck an IV, started pushing fluids. They went ahead and did a contrasted CT scan, and found that there was indeed some blockage that had taken place as a result of the injuries combined with the medications. Who knows? But they gave me treatments that intervened, and after spending a night in the hospital, I was released back home and immediately got into recovering and resting, and really doing some soul searching, because I think that for me could have been the final straw for this adventure that I'm on. I was like, my goodness, I mean, I went ahead and retired as a medic so that I could spend time working on this house and being with Michelle and helping take care of her and be out traveling and adventuring. And sure enough, it started off that way. But boy, the last month or so, it's just been one challenge after another. And with my own medical stuff, with the ongoing shoulder injury, with the lower back thing, with, just fill in the myriad of things that have been going on. But I went to bed that night and I had really lucid dreams, very, very experiential kind of dreams. You know what I mean? Like the kind that you think you were actually at a place or that you actually did some things. But the theme throughout the entire night, the dreams, which I don't usually remember my dreams in detail, but I woke up as if I had had full experience of things. And it gave me a piece of accepting where I'm at. And so I was kind of like, well, I just have a new bar now that I operate from. I can't still do what I used to do. I can't work at the pace or the longevity that I used to. And physically, I just don't have the strength to move mountains like I used to do. I used to be able to, lift very heavy things and not worry about my back or my knee or my shoulder or anything. But that's not the case anymore. And when it comes to should I go back and get another job or anything, the realization hit me too, again, that I wouldn't be making enough money to do what we need to do anyway. The cost of living compared to the money that's brought home, it doesn't add up. It would have still led to financial ruin, just at a little bit slower pace. And that doesn't interest me at all, because we are together full time, Michelle and I. We have been able to make progress on the house. We have started a business. We have gone out camping and we've done some travel, and we've got some more in store this week. And so, we recommitted ourselves that we're going to stay on this path.
A lot of times in a lot of stories, you hear about how letting go is how things finally start to happen. And going through the medical challenges that I did, really helping me to accept that there's just a new reality for me. It empowered me to really change the momentum of what was going on for us and switch into that next gear. Now, it's not that any of that the medical things aren't still an issue. I started having like flutters or palpitations in my chest that lasted for a couple of weeks. And I don't mind sharing right now, even though they shaved my chest. I'm wearing a heart monitor right now. So I'm just having to deal with what it is, and I'm okay with that. I don't try to push too hard. I have really come to acceptance on the new bar that I operate from, and it has made all the difference in the world as we head into the third and final act of this review of how we got here and where we're going, because right after that is when everything really started to shift, and it's been an exciting ride since. So here we go, the next episode, or actually the final act, Act 3 of the last 3 months.
Here in a minute, you might get to meet her.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Look at this one. That looks like our
Oh.
baby. Ooh, those are pretty. My mother used to be obsessed with lace pressed clay, and would travel far outside of Asheville to go find it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you think? You want to go over there and get a drink?
I do want a drink.
All right, let's go get a drink. Hello.
So I'm like looking at displays and stuff too. This is beautiful. Really beautiful. Look at the flower.
I'm in here salvaging parts for a control panel for one arcade game for another to try and salvage some better parts, and then I'm gonna go ahead and mod this Galaga game that I just picked up. It doesn't work, but on our way to a medical appointment in Winston-Salem and came across a lake. Might as well stop and take a few casts. Tight fit. Hey, Mama. Hey, please don't tear up my wall, okay? Oh my goodness, little baby. Yeah, sweetie. Oh my goodness, little babies. Oh yeah, might as well show everybody. So we've got the cafe is done. We call it the Bird Cafe. Out to the deck out there. Hello, Peach. Yeah, I know. You just gotta be on camera, huh? Anyway, so coming here to the game room, we've got this room pretty much done too, except a big TV, a big CRT TV that's going right here. Because this is where we have all the Atari and then arcade games, poker stuff. And this is a 3-in-1 table, so there's a poker table under there, also a bumper pool table, and the arcade, popcorn, more games. Anyway, so it sure is nice to be making progress and have more places that feel like home. Right, Peach?
It's hard to believe that after all this time,
Nah.
this is all that's left of storage unit stuff. Crazy. Yay!
All right. I didn't capture that on film.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so we're finally in the game room, getting ready to have.
So long.
This is the completion of a dream that has been in place for years. The fact that we have the game room all set, about to have a killer game of Catan with the most beautiful lady I've ever known in my entire life.
I'm gonna beat your ass. Hi.
Because she's so sweet.
Living in Asheville is if it gets hot down in the valleys, we can come up thousands of feet. And it's wind chill of 48 degrees and whipping winds. Woo, it almost blew the phone right out of my hand. And this is great. This is awesome. Oh my gosh. It took my breath right out of my lungs. I don't know if the phone is capturing what this is like up here. And it's just simply at the top of the ridge line where the warm air and the cold air are doing battle. Wow. Yes, this is all for science. And it's calling me off. Is it calling you off?
Yeah.
You want to go inside the visitor center?
Sure.
All right.
Oh, is it? Yeah, the trail the trail starts from here. Now that road closure goes back to the picnic area.
Oh, this is nice. Home forest.
I almost want to move them off the middle of the
So we decided to come in out of the cold into a little shelter up on the mountain and make a little fire. Thanks for peeling the wood for me, darling. Very good. Get this stuff started. It's amazing how much warmer it is, but see my breath. Don't burn yourself. This is such a cool place. Oh yeah. Open the shutter windows. Got it all to ourselves. Beautiful.
All right, this is it. The final time opening the final storage unit to clear. And this is all that's left. Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Arlen, we're actually here.
We're here.
It's been 2 months in the works.
This is freaking
3 months.
exciting.
It's been 3 months because we started with Bryson City.
Right.
And then it was
Mock.
Yeah. And then M2.
Right.
Then Massachusetts. And then
yeah.
M3.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, let's get this last stuff loaded.
All right, let's do it.
Can't believe I went and bought another storage bin. We didn't even need it.
We'll need it at home for sure. We'll need it. You said camping. We'll also like my jewelry stuff.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go ahead and I can definitely use it to load some of the stuff for our trip. This thing is so cool.
Yeah.
All right. You can go ahead and sweep it.
All right. I'm sweeping.
IV pole. Yay. All right. We done?
We're done.
We're done. Yeah.
Here we go. Excited. This is something that I've had on my want list for a very, very long time. I don't know if it's come up much, but I am a collector of special edition board games.
especially ones that have alternate play to the traditional games. For instance, our favorite is Lord of the Rings Monopoly Trilogy Edition, which shouldn't even be called Monopoly because it's so different. Well, there's another Lord of the Rings game that is also special edition, and don't know how that plays into the game, but it's special rules, and there's also one ring to rule them all. Also, don't know how that plays into the game, but it does have special rules the way you play the game. Oh no, she's wearing the ring.
I rule them all now.
We're doomed.
I rule them all.
Oh, I can't wait to play this. You ready to play?
Huh?
Let's ready to play?
I'm ready to play.
So I am up in Maine right now. Michelle is somewhere out across this glacial lake. We're in the down east region of Maine and hitting the lakes. And I have no idea where she is. She took off, and that's how it usually goes. But we're glad to have made it here, getting to spend a lot of time with family, getting some fishing. As a matter of fact, out here with one of my cousins fishing right now. He's out on the point on his kayak, and Michelle is somewhere out across this vast glacial lake having the time of her life.
Was it?
Can I throw this in there and you can just like pull on it a little bit and give me the feeling back?
Yeah. Do you know what I love about here besides the landscape, which is incredible? The water is so clear. It's amazing. But even though this has motorboat traffic, they all turn down the idle.
I'd say if we get back to the shore about 4, that way we can load up and make it back in time.
Okay.
Love you.
I love you. Y'all have fun.
Bye.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Oh yeah, smell that.
Now it's empty. Underneath this, so they're all together.
See what it takes. I really love just to be able to let go of everything. And while I am floating in this prehistoric looking world, I feel like a visitor sometimes. And it really connects me with the nature in a way that I've never been before.
Just stunning. Absolutely stunning. Every lake we go to up here, it's just another piece of magic. I don't think the video is doing the justice of how high up I am. It's awesome. Well, hey everybody, I'm back in North Carolina. We got home safely, but we decided to bring some of Maine with us. It's in the 60s at launch, beautiful sunny day, and we are on a beautiful mountain lake here in the Southern Appalachians. Michelle's, of course, already gone. She's somewhere up the long lake here, but it's just, you know, once you get used to getting back out again, you don't want to just sit at home and work on stuff. But we have been working on stuff, and there's a lot we're getting done this week, and I'm sure we'll cover some of that in the video. But in the meantime, I'm going to get out there and explore and enjoy this lake a little bit. And it might be a little bit late in the day to be getting any bass, but I'll give it a try. We'll see what we get.
The water might be too low for it to be an island right now.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. What used to be an island might be a peninsula.
I think so, I really do.
Man, look at this. Nice sandy beach. Oh, what a spot to pull off and have a picnic, huh? I think I'm going to get out and stretch my legs a little. So one of the reasons we made the changes that we did and changed our situation was so that when we had days like this weather-wise, we could just stop what we were doing and get out. Yeah, we've actually been back in North Carolina for a couple of days now, and we've gotten a lot done at the house. We're also setting up, we're going to be out at a market in Maggie Valley, North Carolina with our traveling booth. We're going to be set up out at a flea market in Maggie Valley, which we're really looking forward to. And I've also gone to the point now where the project that I've been hinting at for a few episodes and haven't really been saying specifically what it is a new radio station. It's a combination of formats that I've done in the past, and I've been working around the clock on it. Already seen the bald eagle and flew right over me, so that's a blessing that I wouldn't have had if we hadn't made these changes. Anyway, so that's a quick update. I'm going to get back to paddling, although I do really like this nice shaded cove with a sandy beach, and it's pretty good. Well, here comes my lovely.
Like, what did she bear? What happened when she got up there? Like, what? How did I think she gets it out. Pull this car over. Maybe pull this car over. Every kid in the 80s, 90s, like every kid in the 80s, I don't like it. I don't like it because if I'm like walking up in the dark, I can. That's not a got it split.
That was pretty elegant. I mean,
That was good.
I couldn't see myself with it. This strap for the front. It's still wild to me to think that it was only about a month, maybe a month and a half ago, that we were sitting in our driveway coming up with the concept of our traveling booth that we would set up at markets and fairs and festivals and things, where we're able to go ahead and not only sell the art that Michelle makes by hand, but just different vintage items and things that we had laying around the house and everything. And I think the biggest thing that's a takeaway, though, is the people we're getting to meet and the conversations we're having. It truly is magical, and we love it. We continue to see our dreams manifest into reality, and we're so grateful. Oh, hey. I'm going ahead and getting ready to launch a new radio station, online radio station, and it's a hybrid of what me and Michelle did with Buzz Radio Asheville and also what I had with Biz Radio and Independent Asheville Radio. It's kind of morphed together a lot of the different things that I've done, but create a local community regional radio station, and I do plan on doing live broadcasting on it myself. Plan on having conversations, having people in the studio, and maybe even some music performances and everything. I feel like a lot of the live community conversation stuff where we can just be neighbors and kind of, sit around at the watering hole kind of thing on some kind of regular scheduled basis is kind of missing from a lot of stuff. And so much media has been consolidated into just a few owners that even things that look like they're local conversations a lot of times are not. They are fed nationally, and sometimes the clips are national distribution made to look like they're local, but then sometimes it's the local people, but they're reading the national scripts. And so I think that takes away from the authenticity and the uniqueness of our community. I've really enjoyed putting out the weekly series, the docu-series about our life since I left the VA. And we're approaching 3,000 views on the YouTube videos. So thank you if you are part of that. Appreciate people tuning in. And I will let everybody know as I start to develop this stuff more and layers get added on and putting it out there. Much love to you. Appreciate all the support and the encouragement and the patience. And especially those close in my inner circle. This has been a wild 3 or 4 months. It is going to be really fun to start being able to engage with everybody on a regular basis and have community check-ins and conversations. I'm really looking forward to it. Hey everybody, buzzasheville.com is up and running. Check out local music and local programming. If you're a local business and want to get in front of an all-local audience with all local content, email us, buzzasheville.com. Check it out. Save it on your phone. Bookmark it. Well, there you go. That's the full 4-month story. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for investing the time to kind of see the little story that we're developing here and as we go forward. And who knows what happens? The same principles and the same kind of attitudes and openness to life's experiences and lessons is the same energy that I carry forward from here. We'll see what the next week brings. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you're not already subscribed, please do subscribe to the channel. Like it if you haven't. Share it with friends. It's going to be quite an adventure, and we'll see what happens.
My goodness, I could almost pet him. So the reason I started putting the bird seed on the rail was so that the bird feeders wouldn't attract any bears. Well, that didn't work, did it? And I know you're the one who tore up. Hi. Yes, hello.